For the launch of Nintendo 3DS, we will prepare two colors, Aqua Blue and Cosmo Black. We will launch Nintendo 3DS on February 26, 2011 at 25,000 yen in Japan. As for the US, Europe, and Australia, the launch will be in March 2011, and our overseas subsidiaries will make their own announcements on such details as the price and the launch date later. Before I finish, there's one more thing I would like to discuss. We believe that there is one more mission we have to tackle in order for Nintendo 3DS to spread. We need to decrease the concern that only software from Nintendo can sell well on Nintendo platforms and third-party software cannot sell in the same volume. Nintendo is trying to expand the installed base of our hardware with our own software so that each platform can have a solid base for third-party software companies to make lucrative businesses. We were tackling this mission as our responsibility as the platform holder. As you can see, it is true that the third-party software sales ratios on Nintendo platforms are comparatively smaller in Japan. Wii's third-party software sales ratio is especially low. When we look at the number of the units sold, instead of the percentage, you can notice that Nintendo DS is the platform for which the largest amount of third-party software is selling, although this is partially due to the significantly bigger hardware installed base. For about 1 year after the launch of Nintendo DS, there were still voices saying it was only Nintendo software which was selling for Nintendo DS, but the situation changed as the hardware increased its installed base, and today it is rather rare to hear such an opinion. While we hope the situation would change for Wii as well as it penetrated the market, we have not been able to resolve this issue with Wii. Because of this background, some must have been concerned that a similar thing as Wii could happen on Nintendo 3DS. For Nintendo 3DS, we need to tackle this issue. For your information, when we combine the corresponding data for the US, the situation is very different from when we focus on the Japanese market only. There is not so much of a difference between Wii and Nintendo DS that is found in Japan. You can also note the fact that significant unit sales have been realized both for Wii and Nintendo DS by the third parties. In terms of the fact that Xbox 360 was launched 1 year earlier, the sales of third-party Wii titles were not inferior to that of other platforms when we look at the global picture. For the Japanese launch of Nintendo 3DS, so that we will not make a trend similar to the one found for Wii in Japan now, we feel a need to have closer ties with our third-party developers from the beginning. As we have asked for the opinions from some Japanese developers, please take a moment to watch the videos. Resident Evil Revelations is a pure horror game. The fight against the terror that is approaching you is a theme this time. Being able to experience it in 3D must be a great joy for the players. Right now, all the members in the developing team are making efforts so that, in the end, the players may even feel too scared to move forward. We have also made available for this opportunity today another title called Resident Evil The Mercenaries 3D, which is, unlike Revelations, a pure action game. In the dynamic 3D scenes, you will beat up myriads of opponents. I hope you will enjoy this game of survival. I think 3D expression is particularly good for the horror themes. Nintendo 3DS boasts some of the capabilities that can be compared with the home console machines, and it has some abilities that home consoles cannot carry out. We are hopeful to be able to leverage upon such unique functionalities for the creation of these two titles. This Samurai Warriors Chronicle is a new game in the series for Nintendo 3DS. So far in the series, the players control the Musou warriors as the playable characters. This time we have a new protagonist. We have created the game system around the story of how this new lead character deals with the Musou warriors and survives and advances in a turbulent